Okay, tubes, here's that video I was talking about. I've got some things to do outside. Like I said, I'm on a very short time frame to get my butt out of here. Less than 48 hours. That's not always happy and fun to deal with. So, without any further ado, we'll go ahead and start your video. It'll be audio only because that's what I have. All the outdated permits that, a couple of other things that I wanted to mention quickly. I get everything in one place.
All rise. Court now is in session. Honorable Glenn Sabona presiding.
Please be seated.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, this is case number J 1303 CB 2017-000-197. Looks like Mr. Bellingham and Emerson. This is a forcible detainer action. Mr. Williams is here and Mr. Martin is here, correct?
That's right.
And just for the record, identify yourselves, the plaintiffs first.
Your Honor, Scott Williams for the plaintiff seated to my right.
And who's that person?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jean Marie Bellingham.
And the defense side.
Casey Martin representing Ron Emerson, who is present.
Right.
And is there anybody else to be testifying today?
Anyone else?
Anybody
Yes.
else to be testifying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, if you're going to be testifying, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and swear that you are under the penalty of perjury that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, sir. I see three people with their arm raised, and everybody's nodding their head or saying yes.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is time set for forcible detainer action. I have read the complaint and the answer. You have a chance to read the answer, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
You have it there? Okay, I'll make sure. One of the things I want to first deal with before anything is one of the parts of the answer dealt with the ineffective service of notice of the 5-day notice. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You denied, I believe, count 5 of the complaint. And 5 of let's see, no, I'm sorry, 4. If applicable, defendants were served proper notice is what the complaint serves, and you denied that. So, Mr. Williams, I'm going to first give you the opportunity to address the notice issue, and then we'll have, since you have the burden on that, then we'll have Mr. Martin indicate why he thinks that this service was ineffective.
Oh, Your Honor, that was a mistake on my part. I apologize.
So, you're not denying count 4 of the complaint?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we can go into the substance. I did see good service, and you're not denying as far as the service of the complaint, the service of the complaint, you're not having any issues with that either?
No, sir.
It's more of the substance of the situation.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to first speak with, well, I guess, who do you want to call first, Mr. Williams? We have two
Ms.
witnesses.
Bellingham.
Ms. Bellingham? Is that correct? Thank you. Could you please tell us your name and spell your full name and spell your last name for the record? So the hand part is wrong. I've got hand, I've got it. Okay. Counsel, do you wish to ask your client any questions?
Yes. Exhibit label, sure.
If you're at, I have them marked first.
Okay, man.
Are these, in addition to what's been attached to the motions in this case, or the complaint?
I think I'm not sure what was attached to the complaint. I know the 5-day notice was, and that's one of the exhibits. Did you not want to mark? Or?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I didn't know if there was
And
something
the
in
lease
addition.
agreement and the counter.
The ledger account.
Yes. Is it okay if you seated, Judge, or do you want to?
Whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Okay. Jean Marie, what is your relationship to the property at 220 West LaRoe Street?
Yes, I own the park with my husband.
And the common name of that is Lazy G Trailer Park?
It is.
And you're familiar with Mr. Amerson?
I am.
And does he reside in the park?
Yes.
Is that in space 14?
Correct.
Okay. And does he have a lease agreement for that space?
Yes.
Martin, after you take a look at the agreement, are you going to stipulate that that is in fact the agreement that you're trying to enter into this right here?
Your Honor, we were provided that. There is an issue regarding that.
Okay, to move into witness,
Sure. Well, we'll show it to Mr. Martin first, just so make sure you're on the same page with the same guy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you want to see the other two?
Oh.
Let me show you plans to exhibit one. Can you tell me what that document is?
That's a space lease agreement.
Please, for the commission of one.
It's basically lease agreement for what? As you know.
For which space?
I'm sorry, for 14. Space 14.
Is that between you as the owners and the defendant in renting that space?
It is.
It was entered August 3rd of 2016, is that correct?
Yes, August 3rd.
Mr. Martin, it's been requested to be admitted. Do you have objections to the admission of offense number one, notice, or statement? Thank you, move on.
We were provided that as well, Your Honor, so no
No
objection.
objection. Plaintiff's one will be admitted, who else?
Let me show you what's been marked as plaintiff's exhibit 2. Can you tell me that document?
That is the 5-day notice that I sent Mr. Anderson.
Okay. And you got that delivered to Mr. Anderson?
Yes, by certified mail.
Okay. And that's for non-payment mail? Okay. Move for admission of 2.
No objection.
Two will be admitted.
And plaintiff's exhibit 3, what is that document?
That was just an accounting of his ledger with the park as of the 12th of February.
And does it accurately reflect the payments and charges to the account for the rest of the building?
Yes.
Move for admission of 3.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thanks. Number three will be admitted, who else?
So with regards to exhibit 2, the 5-day notice, if we could kind of run through the charges that you were indicating back on January 20th, 2017. Do you have a breakdown of those charges?
Yes, I do. To come up to the $709.45 on the 5-day, that consists of a balance due remaining from December of $73.42, the January rent of $255, December electric reimbursement of $139.03, December water of $12, and late charges from 12/6 to 12/31 of $130, and from January 1st to January 20th, the date of the 5-day, of an additional $100.
And so you're indicating the total as of the date of the 5-day notice on January 20th, 2017 was $709.25?
45.
45. And as of today's date, do you have a breakdown of what's owing for rent, including past due balance?
I have to do some fast math, but yes, the rent is $483.22. I'm sorry, 5.
And that $583.42 is the $73.42 December balance you testified about.
Right.
Okay. And January and February's rent is now due, is that correct? And all those amounts are due unpaid as of today.
That is correct.
Okay. And the late fees previously you testified up to $130 for December. There are continuing late fees in January and February of $265.
I show a total of,
$230.
yes, for a total of 365
Okay. As of today's date, the outstanding late fees are $365. And the utilities that are outstanding, you testified as to the December electric of $139.03, December water of $12. Since then, January's electric and water reimbursement have come due, is that correct?
That is correct.
And is that $113.81 for electric and for water?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have a total of all the utilities due as of today? I'm showing $276.24.
Okay.
Is that correct, or it sound correct?
I'm sorry, 276.84?
Is that correct? Is that yes? Okay, thank you. And you're seeking your court cost and attorney's fees today, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Ms. Moore?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Were you present when Mr. Emerson allegedly signed this lease agreement?
No, I was not.
This is a lease agreement that you use in your course of business?
Yes.
It's pretty standard that you use this. And you've read through this?
I'm sorry?
You have read through this lease agreement?
Yes.
As far as you know, is there anything in here that says that payments need to be made in cash?
No.
Just one second. Yeah. Can we put the money for this on? No further questions, Your Honor.
Any further based upon the questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you accept cash payments from home tenants? And how long has that policy been in effect?
For about 4 or 5 years, at least 5 years.
Okay. And during that time, I assume that's been the policy at the park? And is that the policy that you explained on move-in, or your manager's standard practices to explain that policy?
It would be the manager's, it's not submitted to
And in this particular case, it appears that the defendant moved in sometime in August of 2016, and from August through to sometime in December of 2016, all those payments that he did make were not cashed, to the best of your knowledge.
through November. He hasn't paid anything since November 1st.
Okay, but August, September, October, November, correct? So 4 months there.
Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different payments for all money.
And all of those were money order or something similar, not cash.
Correct.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have another witness, Mr. Williams?
No, I think I'll call him in rebuttal.
Do you then rest your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martin?
Yes, Your Honor, we would call Mr. Emerson.
Mr. Emerson, you've been sworn, is that correct? Yes, sir. Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record, sir.
Ronald Michael Emerson, spelled phonetically, Adam, Mary, Edward, Robert, Sam, Ocean, Nora.
Mr. Martin, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Emerson, do you reside on the Lazy G Trailer Park?
I do.
Is it space 14? And how long have you lived there?
Since August, I live.
Okay. If I may approach, Judge? And when you first moved in there, how much did you pay?
I paid the $250 deposit that was required. I paid the first month's rent, which was $255. And I believe at that point I also gave an additional $350 just in case something were to happen with me, hospitalization, car accident, whatever it might be. So I would definitely have a credit going forward.
And who did you pay that to?
Mr. Shepsville, Jim, manager.
Were you indicating when he was present in the courtroom?
Yes.
Now, one second, I'm sorry. Well, let's just start with this. When was the first time you tried to pay rent that was refused to be accepted?
I believe that was November 1st.
And what happened on November 1st?
It's in a recording that I have. I approached Mr. Shadow and asked him, "Where's my rent bill?" He says, "We're not giving you a rent bill this month. We want you to leave. We don't want you here. Just go." I said, "Excuse me? I have money here. I'm willing to pay my rent. Please accept it." And he said, "Nope. We want you gone. We're not accepting the rent." He didn't say anything about accepting cash or money order or anything. He said, "We're not accepting your rent."
Okay. Do you go to Mr. Sorry, I don't know his last name. It's very French.
It is, yeah. Chef on that?
Okay.
This gentleman back here. Apologies.
That's correct.
Does he have an office at the Dairy Park?
It's also his residence, but yeah.
Okay. And in the office, is it marked anywhere that no cash is accepted? Must
To
be.
date, I've never been inside of that office while it was in functioning use.
Have you ever been told anytime since you first moved in there that there's only cash?
No.
No cash.
No, I've never been told it was no cash request.
So after you were told on November 1st, 2016, that they weren't going to accept your rent, what happened in the next month?
Yeah.
What happened on the next month when you tried to pay the rent?
I attempted to pay, understanding that they probably weren't going to accept it anyway, regardless. I went down, pulled the money out of my account, walked up there and said, "Here's cash money." He said, "Nope, we're not going to accept your rent money."
Okay, did he give you a reason why?
He told that he was under strict orders from Jean Marie Bellington, which is also president of the court.
To not accept your rent money?
Correct.
Did he say cash or
He
just
said
money?
specifically rent money.
Okay. And did he again say that they cut their bill in July?
He did.
Okay. So what happened on January?
I said, "Hey, look, if you're not gonna, here's my rent money." He says, "We're not gonna accept it." I said, I know you're not gonna accept it. If you're not gonna accept it, I need to go ahead and start applying it to my RV. I'm afraid that you're gonna do something stupid, and I've got to move quickly. And he agreed to those terms.
And he agreed to what exactly?
He agreed to, well, if you're not gonna accept my rent, I'm gonna go ahead and use it towards the RV.
Okay. And what do you call his reply was?
Fine, okay,
So he, once again, you offered him cash and he didn't accept it.
correct.
And he didn't say at that time either that it's the policy not to accept cash.
He said specifically rent.
Now, if he had said something besides cash, I mean, if he had told you we're not going to take cash, what would you have done at that point?
The grocery store is a mile down the road, going away. Drive down there, spend 15 minutes, get him money order, come back, here you go, everybody's happy.
Now, is it sort of your practice to record a lot of conversations you have with the manager?
It's become a bad habit I've had with reporting him or anything that's going on in my proximity.
Now, have you recorded your conversations with the
I-
manager in this particular?
I did,
And did you provide me with this copy?
I did.
And, Your Honor, for the record, I did try to email opposing counsel, and I don't believe that it actually went through, but we did have some brief recordings. that are
You
all-
have it transcribed at all?
I do not.
You have it. How long is it?
There's 5 files on this particular desk. 3 of them, they're about 2 to 3 minutes long. It's 1 to 2 minutes actually.
And they pertain to him attempting to give.
They are the
client giving
instances
notice.
when Mr. Emerson has tried to give money to the manager, and the manager said, we're not gonna accept that. We don't want your money.
Money.
He didn't say anything about cash. I can go about it.
I mean, that's what he had money on his person.
Yes, sir.
He said, "We won't accept the money." I think
That's
he-
our position.
Right.
He's testified to that, so we'll not add anything additional.
Yes, very much
With
so.
regard to that.
I think it-
Money versus.
As to the issue of money versus cash versus, that's pretty much the sole purpose behind this, is to show that he's offering to pay his rent and is told, I was told not to take your money. There's nothing in here, you know, there's also, I think, Mr. Anderson wants to, of course, now goes to tone and what was told to him, but regarding that one specific issue, which I know is what this court warned us last week, that all this court's concerned about is just whether or not the money's been paid or not. It will show that he tried to profit the money and it was rejected.
Do you have a means of playing it here that we can report it into the system?
If we could borrow Mr. Anderson's computer out when he's.
If you want to try that. I think that's the best way, and also just try to get to the area that we're talking about.
Yeah, well, he actually did go pretty evidence skill, so.
Okay, counsel, do you have an objection to that?
I haven't heard of Judge, I have no idea what's on these, there's no foundation as to what dates the conversations are, or who they're between.
And then you can try to lay it out if you want to, just to kind of understand that the objection is, there's twofold. One is failure to disclose.
I understand.
The minimum would be, I mean, if they're short, if they could have had a transcript, it would be nice to at least give them this one, actually look at it,
Yes.
play it. Do you want to take the opportunity to take a break in this action, at least listen to him before we go back on the record?
If we may.
Yes.
Okay, if you can do that, that's fine. If you want to go off the record, give them a chance to review that.
Now, the problem is I've left my headphones out in the truck. But
I think you're just gonna play them. So
okay.
actually, the good thing is this, that's what we're using.
Oops, I turned on first. I love how slow these 4-core processors are. Yeah.
You get ready.
Yeah, there you go.
It's also pretty huge. That's what
Yeah. Well, the huge one's video recording. The other ones are audio.
Yes.
Are they up yet?
Yeah, we're getting there. Come on over here. So we can try and hear what it says.
Yeah, it's not going to be very loud. Unfortunately, this computer's been around the world a few times.
That's how far it goes.
Yep.
Unless you have something better than I have. I can't hear it. You can try.
Well, I'm gonna attempt to do this, Dad. You guys don't want to accept the payment, then, you know, I have to do it. Okay, well, no, I don't. Never do it. I'll ask you. Yep. I'll give you yours. Okay. Okay. Actually, I prefer that if they don't want to sit down and work with me on this situation, I prefer to take and put everything in writing. Right. You and me, we can talk about it. Not fair. No, I want it in writing because, you know, that's good things up to council. It's going to get expensive very fast. Hey, Charles, somebody muttered the words in the park before. Oh, okay.
I mean, I can catch a few here and there. I don't know, maybe you can do better with it, but.
Well, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. You know, that's what I'm gonna play ahead, so.
Well, there's a couple more in here.
So there are two more. Does anyone have an operating?
I guess, try another one. It doesn't sound like it's gonna help much.
If I can get the headphones. Yeah, this isn't. He could probably play it on his computer a lot better. Yeah. Yeah, it's just my speakers are. And I left my earphones out in the truck. Yeah, he's gonna have to play it up on the.
Is it playing another one now or no?
No, I'm trying, and the speaker just. I mean, this thing is old.
Okay. I guess we're ready.
All rise, court is now in session.
Mr. Williams, had a chance to review the disc?
One file on that disc, they attempted to play Judge, and I can't hear it. I don't think else can hear it. It's simply not audible.
And again, without an audible disc, I have no problem with you testifying as to what it might contain. You may have already done that, but that doesn't make a good exhibit. So at this point, you're not moving to admit it this time, are you?
Well, I think for the record, I'm.
Okay, and your foundation, go ahead and list you, go ahead and, first of all, go ahead and move.
We moved to enter this CD into.
What's it? Has it been marked?
It has not been marked.
Mark it, and then we'll get what CD we're talking about for the record.
Defendant's Exhibit 4, Judge?
Okay. And for the record, this is a recording, recorded recording of an interaction between your client and the manager of the Lazy.
That's right.
And just for the record, prior to this matter being presented, counsel gave other counsel an opportunity to listen to the recording. Mr. Williams has indicated that he could not really hear the contents of the audio recording. Quality was not that good. Mr. Martin is offering to admit that into evidence. You were here at the same time it was played for Mr. Williams.
I was wrong.
Do you concur that as far as that particular exhibit, in that particular format, on that particular instrument, computer, it was difficult to hear what was being stated?
To Mr. Williams' credit, he got very, very close. It was incredibly difficult.
Okay. But you are moving to admit?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Williams, for the record, please have the objections.
Yes, Your Honor, plaintiff objects to, I'm sorry, what exhibit is it?
4.
Defendant's Exhibit 4, both on disclosure and on the inability to review it here and foundation.
I'm going to deny the admissibility based upon the inability for counsel really to be able to observe the orthogonal what's on there, so.
Yes,
I will deny that. Number 4. Please proceed.
Mr. Emerson, this is technically exhibit number 1. Recognize that document.
I recognize the document, but not the signature.
You didn't receive that document? You didn't receive that document from management.
I did not receive this document from the.
Did you receive that document from plaintiff?
No.
Who did you receive that document from?
As far as the signatures go, I did not receive this particular document.
So if you really testifying that you did not sign that document?
I did not sign that document.
The document you're talking about is the lease, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. I'm sorry. It's plaintiff's exhibit 1.
You have it.
Sorry.
Okay.
So just to sum up, Mr. Emerson, you have tried to pay the lease for 3 months in cash and it was rejected every time?
That's correct.
And you were never told that the reason it was being rejected is because it's being paid in cash?
I was told the reason that it was being rejected was because they wanted me to leave.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Wynn?
Have you ever, prior to being, I'm sorry, I didn't hear when you said you were providing plaintiff's Exhibit 1 the rental agreement.
I was offered an application. I signed that application, but I was never given that particular document.
Okay. You indicated that your rent is $255 per month, is that correct?
Correct.
And your rent is due on the 1st, is that correct?
Correct.
You indicated in December that you talked with the manager, Mr. Chattanooga. No, I'm sorry, probably get that wrong. I think we can just call him Jim. How's that? Is that okay with the board?
Yes, sir.
So you talked with Jim in December of 2016,
Correct, I did.
and what date was that?
First, second.
And any other discussions in December?
Oh, there were many.
And in January? What date was that?
You're asking a vague question here, discussion.
I'm asking you specifically regarding the testimony that you gave in the direct examination. You indicated that you had a discussion in December regarding paying rent. What date was that discussion?
The first of January, in fact, on the unadmissible disc, that he even admitted Happy New Year, because it was January 1st.
And you said that you had some discussion and that you came to some kind of terms to use the money towards RV.
Correct.
What does that mean?
Well, seeing as how things aren't getting along between myself and Jim, the thought was he, and there are other legal issues beside this, injunction against harassment, things like such. I started having some very fearful thoughts. I wanted to have my RV ready just in case I had to scoot out. So I told him, hey, look, if you're not going to accept the rent money, I want to put it to, I'm going to put it to the RV. He said, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. Bye.
I still don't understand. I mean, you're going to use that money to improve your RV, to get it ready to move? What is it you're trying to say?
I had the RV towed in, and it was quite expensive. I didn't want to have it towed out, so I went to go ahead and maintain some repairs on it that were pertinent to that.
So are you saying you no longer have the funds to pay the rent?
I don't believe my obligation exists to him anymore. I believe that as far as our agreement at this point, he said, okay, go ahead and, move this money towards the RV. So, I'm on a limited basis. I have VA disability. I'm not a man of means. I have to choose wisely where my finances go. And if he won't accept my rent, which that's the term he uses, I'm not accepting your rent, then I have to go ahead and use that money to something else that's tactically more appropriate to my situation. And with the threats that he's been doing, the harassment that he's been giving, yeah, I want to get out. I definitely want to get out of that situation now. I understand that we're also going to be hearing today about some injunctions. If he leaves, then I don't have to.
Okay, you've already had an injunction hearing, correct?
There is another one that he should be aware of. He took the documents off from my truck yesterday.
Okay, my question is, you had an injunction hearing with Mr. Shetton, no, correct? Previous to this?
Yes.
And that injunction was denied, is that correct?
Based on physical evidence, not because of my lack of pride.
So is that a yes?
Yes, it was denied.
Okay. Now, getting back to my question, you said you're going to use the funds towards the RV. Is that removing the RV, putting it in condition that you could remove it from the park?
So I can, if need be, if there's an emergency situation. There are many reasons that an emergency would come about.
My question is, it sounds like you're saying that you're going to use those funds to move out of the park. Did you make an agreement, or do you have an expectation of leaving the park anytime soon?
I told him specifically that I was going to apply it to the RV under no circumstances whatsoever. I just said I'm going to apply it to the RV.
Okay.
And if you allow admission of the disc, and if the judge would be so honorable to go ahead and play it on his
I'm
computer.
going to object, Your Honor. He won't answer the questions. He's arguing with Your Honor regarding your decisions, and truthfully, it's insulting to the court.
Just to ask the next question, try to answer, just answer the question.
My question is whether or not, at the time that you say you had this discussion, using funds towards the RV, there was an intent for you to remove the RV from the park.
I never said that.
Does that mean you had no intent of removing the RV from the park?
My intent was, according to what I said at the time, is to put the money towards maintenance and repairs of the RV.
Did you also receive a notice of termination for the end of this month?
I think my counsel will address that today.
So you're refusing to answer?
Well, there's no relevancy to that for our purposes.
Oh, sorry. The payments that you made prior to November, or prior to December of 2016, all those payments were made in money order certified funds, is that correct?
It happened to be a handy way to pay.
Would that be a yes?
Again, it would be a handy way for me to pay.
I would ask the court to instruct the witness to
Please
answer.
answer this yes, no. Order the previous months paid by either money or certified.
It was money order.
And just for the court, Mr. Emerson's answers, along with his chuckles, really aren't entertaining to me.
Just go for the next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Emerson, did you have any money orders after November 1st, 2016 that you presented to the manager of the park?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Correct?
Mr. Emerson, so it's your understanding that what you offered the money,
Correct.
and it was rejected,
Correct.
and you told him what your plans with that money were.
Correct.
Would that mean you wanted to leave right then and there?
I wanted to stay there. I wanted to go ahead and try to resolve the situation.
You did not want to leave right then and there? No further questions, Your Honor. No further witnesses. Come on down, Mr. Emerson. No, sir.
You rest.
You rest.
Counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd like to call him rebuttal, Mr. Shetland. Thank you.
Nothing else, sir? We're definitely going to be asking you to spell your last name. And just for the record, I think everybody wants to feel more comfortable calling you Jim, so is that okay?
That'd be great.
Okay, sir. You've been previously sworn to testify? Okay. So you were previously sworn to testify?
Yes.
Okay. Please tell us, take your name for the record and spell your last name.
James Walter Chateauneuf, last name
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Your Honor. And are you employed at 220 West LaRose Street?
I'm an manager.
Okay. And is that the Lazy G Trailer Park?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you recall Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, the approach picture?
Yes.
Do you recall Mr. Emerson applying to bring an RV into the park?
Yes, sir, I did.
And just to be clear, this is just a RV, correct?
Yeah, it's.
Recreational
You
vehicle?
drive it yourself, yeah, it's, you don't pull it behind a car or anything, it's not a
Like a motorhome or something?
motorhome, it's not
Okay, but it's not a mobile home?
no, not in that respect.
Okay, and not a park model, that type of vehicle? Okay, so it's a motorhome and an RV, a recreational vehicle?
Correct.
All right, thank you. And Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, are you familiar with that document?
I am, sir.
And is that a document, I don't know if you prepared it or was prepared and sent to you, or what's the situation with regards to one?
It's just part of my paperwork sent to me by the Belgian.
Okay.
You're talking about the rental agreement, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
On Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, the defendant has indicated that those aren't his initials or signature. Do you recall whether or not you were there for him signing this document?
Right, that's how I do it every tenant, every time. I present it to them, they read it, they sign it. And and right then is when I explain money over zoning.
Okay. And in this particular case, do you recall Mr. Emerson signing Plaintiff's Exhibit 1?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you recall going over the terms with Mr. Emerson?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall him making a payment at the time he moved in or nearabouts in money orders?
First, I believe it's the first 3 months he paid with money orders, because he knew that was the rule.
Okay. And you said he knew the rule because of why?
Because I told him. I go over this thing, when I verbally tell them the ins and outs of the park, little things, but the one thing I definitely tell them is money orders only. It's been that way for years.
Okay. And in this case, come December, I believe, well, first, I guess it was November 1st, 2016, Mr. Emerson, you were here for his testimony, indicated that he talked to you and you said you wouldn't accept any money.
Correct. Can I explain why?
Go ahead.
Article 11 of the rental agreement here is upkeep of premises, and Ron has surrounded his trailer with what I would just call junk, and what I did, there's a lot of it, there's matter of fact, there's pictures. So anyhow, and I have him on my phone. I gave him a 5-day notice at that time, effective the 25th or 6th of that month, which we're talking about December. I gave it to him on November, but it didn't come active, so that on the 1st of the month, in December, I expected him to move. And it's my understanding, right or wrong, that you don't try to throw someone out and then take the rent money. Seems like
So he was under a notice to clean up the premises?
for a whole month, 25 days.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you recall any discussion in January with regards to the payment of rent?
I presented him, like I do everyone, with our invoice that we write up, our read the meters, and everybody's questioned me on it, we keep documents on that every month. And he looked at it and he said, this is an illegal document, I don't accept it. He didn't offer me any money in January. Okay, no cash, no nothing, but, he called it an illegal document. And he said he'd have his attorney look at it, and it's the invoice I've been using for 11 years.
Okay. And did he say anything regarding electricity at that time or the reading?
I think he said he didn't believe it was that much, so I provided him with the meter readings from the month before. This is just the day after, this is like the 2nd, so it couldn't have changed much, And I offered him, and I showed him how we do it, it's exactly, it's 13 cents a kilowatt, and I broke it all down for him on his copy of the invoice. And that's when he said, this is an illegal document, I don't accept.
So you gave him an invoice of how much to pay in January 2017?
Correct.
Okay. And did he bring you any funds or anything?
Called it a legal document, and that was the end of that.
Okay. And then, again, in February of this month, February of 2017, was there any interaction regarding payment of rent?
Yes, February, it was into the month, I don't remember the exact date, but again, he comes up.
End of January or?
No, this is this month, February, because he hasn't paid, you know. January, he called him into the document. December, I was gonna evict him, so we didn't accept it. This month, he came up and paid cash, you know, bundled up, I couldn't even tell how much it was. But he said, I wanna pay the rent for this month. And I said, the first thing I always tell all the tenants, you know we don't accept cash. It's gotta be money with it. He said, yeah, well, let me finish. So he tells me, if I give you this money for this month, what we're in now, then you have to get all the past dues. And that's the deal he wanted me to make with him.
Okay, Tube, sorry about this little interruption. But I'm sure you've heard the other tapes, and I'm going to put some more up here pretty soon on the all YouTube, boob tube, whatever you want to call it, where he never tells me he doesn't accept cash. He says specifically he is not going to accept the rent. And it's been the same throughout. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you or BS to you. I don't know who you are, but I'm seeing those numbers go up. Ooh, I got like 4 friends now. Great. Ah, cool. So yeah, I'm going to let you decide on that one, and to see if, in fact, he's lying or not lying. It's entirely up to you to decide. But at this point, there's nothing that says that he refused cash, or that he said anything of the sorts. Like I said, there's a couple other on my channel that pertain to this. By the time all said and done, there's probably going to be 5, 6, or 7, or 12. I don't know. You decide. Here we go back to the movie.
And not only am I not authorized to do that, I wouldn't do that.
Do you recall any discussion, he said he had some discussion in January 1st to be specific, regarding him using his funds towards his RV.
Right, and I thought he was gonna move when he said that, because that's January 1st is when the 5-day notice for Article 11 that he violated the premise being the junkyard. That was when I expected him to leave. However, he said, okay, if you don't take my rent, again, it was cash. He said, if you don't take this cash, you don't take this money from me, I'm gonna just apply it to my RV. I said, apply it to anything you want, that's not my business.
However, he just modified his terms by going ahead and saying, you can do whatever you want with it. Well, obviously, me being on a limited budget, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that money and use it to something a little bit more fruitful, and thank goodness I did, because, like I said, they kicked me out, and I wouldn't have had time to do half the things that I did to fixing this thing up, so I could move it without having it towed.
You know, you need to pay, but by this time, he had past due of $73.42, and he had the late charges that had accrued since, December, actually. And, but he just wanted me to just forget all the back pay and everything. And again, he had cash, and I said, first off, Ron, we don't take cash. That's the first thing I tell people when they come up with me with cash. All right, you are.
No further questions.
Thank you, Ron. Jim.
Yes.
So, you say that back in December 1st, around that area, around that period of time, Mr. Anderson did offer you cash and you refused to take it, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you said that you always tell everybody that there's no cash.
Right, or I would get in trouble.
Okay. And is that in your lease agreement?
It is not, sir.
Is that posted anywhere?
No, sir.
That's something that you tell people.
It's a verbal thing.
If we had other people in here, they'd say, yeah, he tells us that all the time.
Yeah, everybody does pay that money. Nobody brings you cash.
And in January, you said that there was a 5-day notice?
Yes, because of the mess.
Okay. And at that time, he didn't offer you any money?
He did, cash again.
Okay.
But I said, well, I'm expecting you to move, so it's my understanding we shouldn't take money from someone you're different.
But he did offer you cash at that time?
He did offer me cash.
And February, did he offer you cash on that day?
Yes, sir, that's when he called it an illegal document. He first didn't agree with the totals, even though I provided him with all the meter readings, the electric reading, and he could have gone and checked it, but he didn't. And he said, well, it's an illegal document anyway, I'm not paying it.
Just a second, Ron. You may approach.
This is what's been marked as Tenants Exhibit 5, the occupants.
Wait a minute, this is not my handwriting.
What?
This is not my handwriting.
Is that specifically the form you use?
Yes,
Is that the information you provide?
yes, rent, tax, electric, propane, and water. You see the propane is gone, so we, but this is not my writing. And I do all the invoices, so I don't know, I mean, I'm not saying the code isn't right, because I don't have the pages with me right now, but I don't even recognize this handwriting. I mean, you can look here and see my handwriting is very different.
It's the same handwriting.
What's been marked as states Defendants Exhibit 6 and Defendants Exhibit 7.
Okay?
Recognize those.
You know, I'm gonna take something back, possibly my wife did these,
Okay.
okay, that's why I don't recognize the writing. I usually do all the invoices though, and, let's see, there's something missing here. This February, okay, in February, on his copy, that's when I wrote, no, in March, okay, where am I here? Well, March isn't here.
So it's those. So we're going to marshal that.
Let's see. He doesn't know his wife's handwriting, although they've been here doing this for 11 years. Yeah. Automatic. It isn't mine. It isn't mine. Wow, great denial. You don't even know the papers you put out or your wife puts out or whatever the case may be. Not only that, but you don't even know what freaking month it is. March. Where's March's? Where's March? It's not even March yet, people.
Not much, I'm sorry, January. January, he asked me to write on there, so that would be, don't have one, do we? Maybe there's February, or December, and there's November. But that's the one where I wrote his, because he complained about the way, why is there any meter readings to show what his electric really was? So I went through our book that we do, and I wrote them down on his copy, but conveniently, that's not here.
Did you bring a copy of it?
No, I didn't. I mean, I do have it.
I heard you say, just be careful.
I'm sorry.
Always know what blame it.
No, I understand. I do apologize. I'm just trying to disrespect. Your Honor, we would move for this. Enter States Exhibits 5, 6, and 7.
Councilman.
Objection, both. Were those provided over?
They were not. I just got a copy.
Okay, so object on disclosure and on foundation.
Foundation at least, unless the author's gonna be here. Sounds like it's not disclosure.
No, sir.
I don't know if they're actually business records or if this business is this point. So at this point,
So you, just to get this straight, in December, he offered you cash.
Correct, because I had given him a 5-day notice to move out.
And you correctly wrote the following ones?
You can see it's got worse and worse. I have pictures.
So after 5 days, you didn't.
Oh, no, there is stuff everywhere.
Well, I'm asking if you take it out.
Well, I gave him a 5-day notice. I have it with me, if you'd like to see that. I mean, I kicked him out on paper, you know, but he refused to leave. And that, the next month is when he said, well, it's an illegal document, which had nothing, you know.
And when, what month was that?
December. It was only 3 months we're talking about. Because
This guy's an idiot. I kicked him out on paper. Well, that doesn't quite do the trick, people. In fact, if somebody's disputing their rent amount, and you think you're God, well, I guess in this case you do win, but I'll let you get back to the feature.
December and January. That was December.
So December, did you offer it? You did not pay the cash?
That's when the problem was about December.
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
Okay, he says those documents aren't here. That's switch it. Okay. On that one, that was good. Okay. How can we unscrew that? We can't. Okay. At least we made the internal agreement.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any further?
No further questions.
I have a general question, maybe council could help me on this. One, I've got the 5-day notice. But the date of the 5-day notice is the 20th of January. Between the 20th of January, since it was mailed, and the 30th of January, were there any off-road payment? That's the 5-day period we're talking about. And if you have that in your records, let me know as well. I offered to pay for the first. I offered to pay for which was last week. Or 2 weeks ago. I offered the money right here for it. I think I offered the day before as well. Yeah, I offered the day before. Okay, what were those dates? I don't exactly remember. But I know it was after I received this.
What the judge is asking is between those 2 dates that did you offer to pay the rent?
Yeah. And if you want to recall your client in the stand.
Agreement we'd have to do.
I understand that you did not receive any money between that period of time.
That's correct.
Between the 20th of January and the 30th of January. That's the 10-day period I think. Did you recall the defendants making any cash offers or consent between the 20th of January and the 30th of January? It was always on the first of the month. They do that contract.
Between the first and the fifth, because of the late charges after that. That's what you did in the
Based upon my questions, you want anything further?
No, sir.
Based upon my questions, you have any further? There's nothing further.
Okay.
Okay, you may step down. Based upon what I brought up, if any either party wants to bring some additional information, it's time to do it.
Mr. Anderson, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Anderson.
Amos, just on a very limited question, between January 20th and January 30th, did you offer rent only?
Yes, I did.
Jim, do you recall what date it was?
It was, I believe it was the 24th or 25th.
Okay. And why was that?
It's, again, I'm guessing on the exact date. It was, the day before we came into this courtroom, for an injunction hearing.
That was a separate matter?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Do you still have your documentation of the work?
It was, removed from my phone yesterday by,
Well, the date of the hearing. The document. Do you have access to that? There was another protection hearing with these two parties. That will just give us the date and time. And that was in the courtroom that you made that statement, right?
in front of the action.
I just want to call the date. You gotta check the court files, counsel, you have a documentation, what was generated in the paper?
Correct.
Can you show it to the defense counsel first?
Mm-hmm.
You want to have that, we have that marked?
I don't know. Do you have any problem? We can make a copy of it, it's a witness's document.
Okay. And if we can do that, we'll substitute that into the record. Can I show this to you?
Yes, sir.
To help maybe refresh his recollection.
Yes, sir.
As far as date.
Please do.
You see the date that's on there, sir?
Wait a second.
You agree that's not within the time frame we're talking about?
It was, correct, I offered a few days before, and then,
Okay. And then we'll mark it, and is it okay if we admit that it's a document?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just to verify the dates. Any other questions, please,
To clarify, you did offer on February 2nd, the date of the hearing,
I did.
and did you offer prior to that?
Pretty much every week before that, I offered.
Okay. Did you, between the 20th and the 30th, are you sure that you offered to pay your rent?
I am 100% positive.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
What date did you offer the funds between the 20th and the 30th?
See, they're asking about rent. They're not talking about this additional 750 and whatever, I don't know, stuff that's going on. Really, they're trying to trip me up, and honestly, they did a good job. They're professionals at this. I'm not.
Again, I offer pretty much once a week, every week, when I would see Jim, and he would say the same thing. I'm not authorized to pay for rent, as he admitted himself.
My question was, what date?
Again, once a week.
So you don't know what date between the 20th and the 30th that you offered payment?
Again, it's probably 3 to 4 days before that particular injunction hearing, and then approximately 7 days before that as well.
So, I thought you said it was 1 day before the hearing.
And after looking at the actual date, my recollection is exactly fine. But I do know that every week I go ahead and ask them.
How much, during that time, how much did you offer to pay?
I know the last one, because he handed me a receipt.
I'm talking about between January 20th and 30th.
I need to phone counsel first.
You don't know how much you offered to pay?
I need to know what a date was, what a particular date was. I need to check it out.
And this note, I guess the question is, on 2/2, you're in court here. You're saying basically within the 2 weeks before you offered the young man. The date didn't matter, we're just talking about that time frame. I just want to know how much you offered that.
If I received a rent bill for $380.18, that was what I felt that I owed. That's what I felt he wanted. That's what I felt that I offered. And he got refused it again. But the amount amount's always changed. $308.18. The amount's always changed because of the receipts that I was getting. And that's the problem. Each month, obviously, is a different amount.
Thank you. Any further comments?
You indicated previously that start of January 2017 that you indicated you were going to put your money towards your RV.
Correct.
And I also asked you whether or not you have the funds in which to bring the grant current, and you had indicated that you put it towards the RV.
Correct. And your client even agreed that he made that agreement with me.
So are you now saying that you do have the funds available in which to pay the rent?
I do not. Based on.
And again, Council, that's not relevant to today, whether or not you can pay today or not.
Well, I guess my question, Your Honor, is whether or not he had the funds available. He's been answering the questions that he didn't have the funds available during January.
He only indicated that he made an attempt to pay rent of $380.18 within the cure period, which it would not necessarily justify the cure period. So I don't know whether or not he had the funds available or not available. This is what he offered to pay.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Stephanie, thanks. Mr. Morton, anything further?
Nothing further.
Just closing.
Okay, Mr. Williams, you have the burden.
Your Honor, in this case, the defendant's testimony doesn't make a lot of sense. He's indicating that he paid all his rents up until November, when there starts to have some issues, like money orders. All of a sudden now he wants to try and offer cash. He never actually indicated how much cash he ever offered to pay. Managers indicated that actual payments have to be by money order.
Okay, even Jim went ahead and said he had a wad of cash. A wad. Not a few bills, not a couple of doses. He had American Kopecks sitting right there, ready to go, ready to pay the bill. Okay, well, his attorney just went ahead and perjured himself or whatever. But yeah, there was definitely an attempt to make. In fact, they even said, yeah, he tried to pay the rent. Well, okay.
The defendant has always agreed with that previously and has made those payments under that form of payment that's acceptable to the park. Come November, December, and January, that's the situation, as you indicated, between January 20th and the end of the month. The defendant did not tender the funds necessary in which to cure the notice. He was given notice in writing as to the funds that were necessary in which to reinstate the tenancy. He failed and refused to pay those funds, even under his version of the facts. Our witness, of course, Jim, indicates that he didn't make that offer during that time period. The defendant's testimony with regard to that started at the day before the hearing and ended up backing up significantly. The bottom line here is that the rent was not tendered within the cure period. The defendant owes the rent.
Tendered in the cure period. Well, there wouldn't be a cure period if they had just accepted the rent. You know, instead of, and I do have the one that says number one at meter on my page here. He says he's not even giving me a bill, and he never did. How do I know how much to pay if you're not going to give me a bill? And it was the 1st of the 15th. I offered him cash money, and you know, here, let me pay my rent. And he refused to accept the rent, not the cash, not the money order, the rent. And he gives a reason why he's not supposed to accept the rent. So they go ahead and say on the 17th, well, you know, we're going to go ahead and rescind the 5-day because this guy shows precedence. You know, there's another guy that's twice as messy as me, photographs to follow, I guess. And so they said, and may I quote, well, Gene set a precedence. Yeah, okay. Also with the mess, would it have fit in a shed? Oh yeah, it would have fit in a shed any day of the week. In fact, there would have been a whole lot more room in that shed, and it would have looked nice and pretty and everything else. But Yeah, let's get back to your feature presentation so you can listen to more of this guy jibber jabber and mouth off to the judge.
He hasn't disputed the amounts that the plaintiff testified as to due and owing, and we're seeking judgment for the amounts as the plaintiff testified to, as well as possession of the premises.
Thank you. Mr. Martin?
Oh, and let me interject one other thing real quick, Tubes. They wanted to go ahead and backdate the late fees from the 1st to the 17th. Okay, after they refused to accept the rent from the 1st to the 15th, I would have paid it on the 17th. It would have been no problem. But now you've attached all these late fees to it, which, well, obviously I'm on a fixed budget. I can't pay that much. You know, VA disability is great, fine, wonderful, and dandy. It'll keep you from having to eat peanut butter every day as a sole source of food, but it's not going to pay somebody's late fees that they want to tack onto everything because, oh, and a $30 charge for this and something for that and a $5 a day fee for... Yeah, that's the dirty pool that they were playing.
Your Honor, Mr. Emerson has sworn under oath, and we've heard some corroborating testimony that he has offered to pay rent in cash. He was never told to cash only. There's nothing in the lease agreement that says, I'm sorry, no cash. It has to be money order only. There's nothing in the lease agreement that says it has to be money order only. They wouldn't accept cash. He's tried to pay his rent. This isn't somebody that's simply standing by and saying, oh, I guess I could just live here for free because you're not going to take my cash. He's trying to pay the rent. He's tried 3 times now. Mr. Jim has admitted as such that he was offered cash. He says he refused to take it. And then, at one point he said that he didn't offer again, but then he did offer again. Again, the issue is about whether or not Mr. Emerson has been offered to pay his rent. He certainly has. I think there's some animosity in here. We've heard some discussion of some injunction against harassment. There's some people here that don't necessarily care much for each other, so there's some real animosity here and probably some motivation to get somebody kicked out of this trailer park. So based on that, Your Honor, I think that Mr. Emerson has done what he can do. If somebody's not going to accept money for something, just so that they can later on say, well, you didn't pay, so we're going to try to kick you out, that certainly isn't something that I think needs to be encouraged. I think that Mr. Emerson, well, he has testified briefly. I didn't, unfortunately, get into great detail with it. Some of the issues that he's had with some of the utility bills that they were asking him to pay. But, again, there's repeated proffers of rent payment. And, Your Honor, I just think that Mr. Emerson needs to have the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay. Counsel, both of you, thank you very much for your presentations here. I understand both sides very clearly. This is the black and white case, in my opinion. Had your client not testified how easy it was to go down the street and get a money order, I don't think we'd be here today. It's hard. So, and I agree with your client, he shouldn't have had to get a money order to necessarily have to remedy the cure. The cure language doesn't say that. So if he would have offered you $709.45 cash, I think by the statute, you would have had to accept it. I understand it's a policy, but the request here is pay this money and you're cured. The problem, unfortunately, Mr. Emerson, is you didn't.
I actually
that
did.
That is $380. That's testimony here. Within that 10-day period, you offered to pay $380 and some change, which is not the $709.45, which you're required to do to be able to cure this.
May I?
Can't take any more testimony. The testimony's finished now.
This judge was just looking for something to hand at me. There is nothing in the lease or anything else that says you got to have a money order. He's grasping at a straw here. Now, as far as that pay this $700 and some odd dollars, that includes the big fees from the 1st to the 17th, which we discussed earlier, that I shouldn't have had to pay because they refused to accept it. Now, from that point on, they refused to even talk to me. They've refused to work with me about the situation. You know, they refused to go ahead and do anything to work with me. You know, I see this as a definitive problem in our judicial system where the judge, well, for whatever reason, doesn't look at, well, they refused to accept his rent several times, and why wouldn't they refuse to accept the remedy money? Because they did. I mean, I offered them, I said, hey, look, you know, let's go ahead and chip this one up to experience, knock off the late fees, I'll pay it, we're good. They didn't accept that. They just wanted me gone. That was, it has nothing to do with money. They wanted me gone. Well, listen to the rest and I'll have some at the end.
So the testimony is clear what it was, and it wasn't the amount, and they're not required to take anything under that amount. So.
Oh, and by the way, I thought they were talking about the February's rent. I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. So yeah, it's miscommunication there. The judge got what he wanted, so he could go ahead and hand me my butt. He did.
You pay the entire amount to be cured, and you can go back in there under the terms that previously existed. With the $380 and change, it does not cure it. So I do have to find that there is a breach that was uncured, that they do have a right to possession of that property because the rental agreement, the rental amount, and the cure amount simply was not paid within. Again, you have the 10-day period basically to do it. The 5 days from mailing, that's an extra 5 days, plus the 5 days in the notice, and it wasn't paid. And you kind of knew with the plan that they weren't.
Even in the judge's own numbers, they included the stuff that, well, we're not going to accept your rent. Okay. Then don't charge me late fees if you're going to go ahead and do that.
Accepting cash. So the best way to protect yourself was getting a money order, which you simply forget of $709.45, and we would be here today. So unfortunately, the law is what it is. I don't like necessarily having people have to be removed from their residence, but the law is clear what the purpose of the cure period is. So I do find in favor of the plaintiffs in this case as far as the underlying the right of possession of the property. I do want to talk about any issues dealing with what you're asking for as far as utilities and things. If he's allowed to make some objections with regard to that. And counsel, if you're ready to do that, the rent's due. I mean, I'm not going to budge on the rent amount because it hasn't been paid and it's benefit living there. But let's talk about the things that your client did have some issues with regard to the additional fees involved. Just for the record, I have the utilities balance as of now at $76.84. Is that correct? I'm sorry, $276.84.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I think that, I don't know if you need testimony for this, if I can just tell the court.
You can
what
just
his
tell me what
objection
his
is not.
position is.
Yes, Your Honor.
We can discuss whether or not that's something we need to have an ultimate agreement on.
Well, I think that the main objection to the utilities as they're laid out here is that he was never really given any rhyme or reason for how they came up with their particular figures. That was his objection to it. He was simply told this is how much the amount is. He wasn't given meter readings or any sort of indicator.
Does he have any evidence to counter what the figure is?
Your Honor, I live in a 24-foot RV that is sealed to the gills. It's an Arctic version. Yet they're telling me that I have $140 worth of electric bill. I actually do have a fireplace in that RV. I use propane for heat if I need to. How they're coming up with this amount, I have no idea. They won't give me the kilowatts on it, and the one time they did give me the kilowatts, I looked on the internet and it said that that's the equivalent of a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And I'm scratching my head. How is this possible? So there's a definite dispute of accuracy of the meter.
How is the electric generated per unit? How is the cost associated with each particular unit?
By meter reading.
For each unit or for, okay, so there would be a meter associated. And you have the ability to get that information. It's in your name? Was it?
It's in the name of the park.
Okay, so you have the ability. That may be a separate matter and as for a small claims proceeding. My big concern, I can tell you right now, is how do I assess late fees when somebody's offered to pay rent? That I have a little bit more trouble with, because the earlier months, we offered to pay the rent. It sounds like when it was due, he didn't take it because he thought he already had been evicted, he wasn't going to take it. Well, how do I assess late fees when it was supposed to be paid in the first place? I'll give you a chance to respond to that, but my leaning is to rule against late fees.
I defer to you, Judge. I mean, certainly I could make some arguments with regards to that. I think there was a non-compliance with.
And if it was a term of the contract, I'd agree with you that it had to be by when you know, said, listen, it's obvious to everybody. And it may have been obvious in general, but when somebody's offering to pay cash, and you say, no, I'm not going to accept it, but he said, I'm not going to accept it because it was cash. He said, I'm not going to accept it because I'm thinking you're out of here in a few days. If I accept this, I'm going to ruin my ability under the original 5-day notice based upon the condition of the property.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Even the judge went ahead and, oh, wow. Even the judge admits that he refused to accept my rent. Yeah, I like that. If you want, rewind. Listen to that a couple times.
And claims related defer to your judgment, Judge.
So, I am going to order the amount of rent due. And it was $583.42, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to reduce the late fees basically down to $100. Okay? Including the utilities, I'm going to do the $276.84 because that's an out-of-pocket expense. That's an actual out-of-pocket expense, correct? Right. Court costs are
$132.
$132. Write this down. Okay, $132. Service fee?
I think that includes service and.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Your Honor. What are we on now?
I was on court costs.
Okay.
And my action comes out, so it's not. And attorney's fees in this case, sir, you're entitled to reasonable attorney's fees based upon the contract, so.
We're requesting $850.
And you can tell us what that based upon.
Your Honor, we have an agreement with the plaintiff at $650 plus $250 per hour. I've cut that obviously down with regards to that. We've had 2 trips here from Phoenix plus the time involved in the two hearings.
His trips up from Phoenix. You know, I don't care where he's located at. She should have gotten a closer mouthpiece, you know. Lawyers are abundant.
How many hours have you had?
Total in this,
You were involved from the get-go, right?
without the travel time, Judge?
That's without the travel.
Okay. $3.5, Judge.
And you have the contract is for $650, sir?
I'm sorry?
You said the contract that you have is for $650?
Yes, Judge, plus hourly time.
But 3.5 hours, you normally charge how much per hour?
$250. About the same either way.
What's what you're asking for the 850? That's without the travel.
Pardon me?
The 850 is basically what you'd be charging, or 750 is what you do without the travel. Is that correct? 250 times 3.
3.5, right.
Council, you want to address that?
Did we object?
Well, I understand that, but I'd like to give you a specific objection.
Frankly, I don't
The
have.
reason why this was set off is basically because
Exactly,
you got
sir.
involved at the last minute.
Exactly.
And I can't attribute that to the cost of that.
I understand.
That's something I don't want necessarily the plaintiff to do as well. But I also found the defense is, you know, not frivolous.
Mhm.
We attempted to make the payments, but
there he goes again with, he attempted to make the payments. Ooh. Boy, I'd love to slap that judge silly. Unfortunately, it's probably a federal offense, and I'd end up in somebody else's court.
Anything with regard to the amount of time, 3.5 hours doesn't seem like excessive hours.
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Okay. We will order the 850. So, we have a grand total. Is that all the damages?
That's all I was showing, Judge.
And can we get the exhibits that were pointed out, just for, just in case you want to file a deal? You have this, and
Yes, sir.
You guys do your math at the same time? Make sure you go over it.
I missed one, unfortunately, Your Honor. I saw $276.84 in utilities, and I was speaking with Mr. Anderson.
$583.42 for rent.
Yes, sir?
$100 late fees.
Yes, sir?
$276.84 utilities, $132 for park costs, $850 attorney's fees.
1,942.26.
How much? Huh?
$76.84 in utilities, and I was speaking with Mr. Anderson. $76.84 in utilities, and I was speaking with Mr. Anderson.
$583.42 for rent.
Yes, sir?
$100 late fees.
Yes, sir?
$276.84 utilities, $132 for park costs, $850 attorney's fees.
1,942.26.
Let's see if we're all on the same page. Is that approximately what you're getting to?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I still was.
1942.26.
Almost $2,000 because some guy didn't want to accept my rent.
Yes, sir.
I will enter a judgment in favor of the plaintiff against the defendant, $1,942.26 for rent and other obligations due under the contract. You've got a right to get a restitution, in 5 days from today. You have a 5-day notice of appeal right if you wish to appeal no decision. Go ahead, go to the Superior Court, which will have to be filed in 5 days. There may be other issues as far as bonds that you have to post and want to do that as well. And the council will explain that to you. Anything else with regard to this matter on right of possession, amount of judgment, appeal rights, is there anything else?
No, sir.
And your counsel has described to you what a restitution is. Basically, it's where constables are involved and help them. What they do is they pay you items, they're still in there, store them at your expense and location. So just to save yourself some money, maybe that's the other thing.
Right.
Anything else?
Not for the plan.
Anything else, counsel?
May I ask that Jim not, I'm going to ask for the injunction to be enforced. I mean, there's definitely
Counsel is here, we can talk, you guys can talk about how these 5 days are going to be there and whether or not Jim should have any interaction with him while he's there. Okay? We'll work on it that way. Okay? But Jim, you've heard, and I've heard a recording of what you said, it was either yesterday or the day before, and then order protection hearing. Stay away from him. Don't have any interaction with him while he's there. Okay? We'll work on it that way. Okay? But Jim, you've heard, and I've heard a recording of what you said, it was either yesterday or the day before, and then order protection hearing. Stay away from him.
Yeah. Even the judge said, stay away from him. Because he knows, and again, this will be put up there again for under harassment. I just have so many videos to do on this, and so little time to do it, that really, I'm pulling my hair out. Should I be packing? Should I be going ahead and doing the YouTube videos? Will you guys actually go ahead and take action and stand up and say, hey, this does not happen anymore? You know, regardless of whether I'm a veteran or not, this just shouldn't be happening. This is why housing is so poor here, is that landlords get to step all over you. Well, I'm going to let you listen to that one more time just for home and rest there. Jim, you need to stay away from him.
But Jim, you've heard, and I've heard a recording of what you said, it was either yesterday or the day before, in an order of protection hearing. Stay away from him. Don't keep talking to him, because that stuff, they'll get you right back here real fast.
Absolutely.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have an understanding.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and I don't know if you heard that, but I know you were aware, but yesterday was basically an interaction between the two of them, and it actually was initiated by Jim, who has the defendants working on some of his property out there. Basically, everybody, he hates him. That was the comment that was made to the defendant by Jim. So,
And there the judge is admitting, in front of God and everybody, that Jim initiated the contact. He even said what Jim said. He even denotes that there was some hostility in Jim's voice on this. In no time does he say that I screwed up in any bit, but yeah, he still wouldn't grant me the injunction against harassment. He just told me, and everybody in that courtroom, that Jim was harassing. But he won't pony up and do his frickin' job.
and then see for that and stuff. Still, he should not be, harming should not be having. Any questions, sir?
Last time, during the last injunction, you said that he not be on my property. He comes on my property. There's still the issue of that.
Well, like I said, you've got the 5 days, you've got the ability to enforce what we were able to enforce here today.
Okay.
Is it your property? That's part of your leased property, right?
He was, yes, correct.
In
And
the RV.
it was on my leased property. He was leaning on my fence to get over the top of me. And I do have photographs of the work site. So he was actually,
You're telling his employer right here, so.
yeah, he was actually leaning on my fence, which is a violation of what this judge said a couple weeks ago.
So go ahead and address that if you can outside in the hallway, but at this point in time, because it's only going to be the 5-day issue, we're not going to issue the injunction at this point in time.
Okay, just for those people that may or may not have two brain cells to rub together to keep warm in the winter, the judge said, oh, we're just not going to do it because it's only going to be 5 days. Trust me, a lot can happen in 5 days. Heck, I know a lot of things that have happened in 12 hours. With this close proximity, yeah. Judge should have said, hey, you did the crime, you harassed Ron, now you're going to go ahead and get an injunction slapped against you. That's my own opinion, you know. If you see the same, leave a comment down below.
But if he violates it, again, you can talk to him with the owner of the property or at least an attorney to basically set up the parameters, at least to have him stay away from you for 5 days, and how far away from you he needs to stay.
Okay.
I understand access to the park is going to be by both properties, so it's
Yeah.
kind of difficult, but try to make it work. You don't have any comment. Do you understand that, Jim?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, tubes, that's the end of it. Appreciate you guys sitting around listening to this thing rattle on for over an hour and a half. And hopefully we'll go ahead and get you tubes to go ahead and make some phone calls, change things, see what we can do about making this a better place to live. I'm talking in the world, not just the park. Well, you have yourself a good one, and let me know what you think.